We're getting ready to wire a panel, but before we do, let's talk about different types of wire. Now, there are a ton of different wire types out there, but there are only a few we need to know as far as building a control panel. Now, if you're like me, when I first started building a control panel, I went down to my local home improvement store, went to the electrical section, and I bought some wire to wire the panel with. And if you did that, it's probably called THHN. That is this right here. And the big advantage of it is oil, gas, and resistant to many other chemicals because it has a nylon coating on the outside of it. And I see it mainly used in the field part of the installation of control panels. Now, what I use, which looks almost the same, is called MTW or machine tool wire. And you mainly see this inside of control cabinets. And it has a few advantages over THHN. Mainly the jacket is more flexible and it has a finer wire count. So we can get kind of into the turns a little easier. So in fact, if I bend the two over, you'll see this one's much more flexible. This one's kind of kinks wherever it was at. And just to give a larger example, this is a piece of 4/0 MTW wire. And you see how fine the strands are on it. So if you ever go and you try to bend a piece of 4/0, I mean, really, you almost need a tool. Well, with this, I can really easily bend this even as large as it is. So it makes for a really nice panel. It makes it easier to route through a wire duct. Now, there are a few very important things that you do need to look at on whatever wire you use. And the big two are voltage ratings and temperature ratings, because those matter when we're doing wiring in an industrial control panel. In this case, this MTW is 600 volt rated at 105 degrees Celsius. On the other hand, this is Ethernet cable. And yes, I have seen you wire Ethernet cable to your 110 volt loads. It has no voltage rating. It should not be used for anything but Ethernet communications. And while you would never need this in your typical control panel, this is what we call GTO wire, just to give you an extreme example. This is 15,000 volt rated wire, and this is its MTW equivalent. So much heavier insulation and different temperature ratings. And finally, when thinking about wire, you have tin versus non-tin. So both of these are copper wires. Even though this looks aluminum-ish, it is actually tin coated all the way through. And this gives you a lot more moisture resistance. So when I was building control panels, mostly in water systems, everything had to be tin. Now, if you're not in a wet environment, you're probably okay with regular copper. All right, the next thing we really need to talk about is wire colors, because there are a lot of opinions on that, and none of them are wrong. So click here to learn about that.